Hey guys, welcome to my channel Cloud Tech Services. In today's video, we are going to explore one of the most important parts of Microsoft Intune administration, that is device enrollment. We will first understand the overall enrollment and management process. Then, we will compare the major enrollment options available for Windows and Android devices. By the end of this video, you should be able to select an enrollment method based on device ownership, user association, Microsoft Entra configuration, existing management tools, security requirements, and whether the device is personal, corporate owned, shared, or dedicated. So, let's get started. Before Intune can apply policies or manage a device, that device must first be enrolled. The enrollment process begins when a user or an administrator registers a new or an existing device with the organization's Microsoft Entra tenant. The device may either be a personally owned device, which is commonly referred as the BYOD, or a corporate owned device. Once the enrollment begins, the device communicates with the Microsoft Intune Admin Center. Intune uses an MDM certificate to establish a trusted management relationship with the device. MDM here stands for Mobile Device Management. After the device is successfully enrolled, Intune can begin applying organizational settings. These can include security rules, application protection policies, device configuration profiles, compliance policies, conditional access requirements, application deployments, and other management controls. The result is that both personal and corporate owned devices can appear in the Intune Admin Center where the administrators can monitor and manage them. However, the amount of control Intune has on these devices depends on the enrollment method that was selected. Consider an example. An organization may require complete control over a corporate laptop, but only limited control over the work related data that resides on an employee's personal phone. That is why selecting the correct enrollment method of the devices is very important. Let's begin with the Windows enrollment methods that is covered in the image right here. There are four main options when we talk about Windows enrollment: Windows Automatic Enrollment, Windows Autopilot, the BYOD User Enrollment, which is applicable for personal owned devices, and the co management with Microsoft Configuration Manager. Let's take a look at what each one means. First, talking about the Windows Automatic Enrollment. The Windows Automatic Enrollment is a straightforward option for enrolling Windows devices into Intune. It is the commonly used method when users join or register their devices with Microsoft Entra ID. This method is suitable for both new and existing devices and can support personal as well as corporate owned Windows devices. Automatic enrollment is a good choice when the organization has Microsoft Entra Premium. Conditional access will be used. Users are enrolling their own devices. The devices are associated with individual users, or administrators need to enroll several organization owned devices through bulk enrollment. The most important limitation that the automatic enrollment has is primarily it is intended for fully Microsoft Entra joined cloud native devices. Therefore, bulk enrollment or the Windows automatic enrollment is not the first choice or the best choice for hybrid joined devices. Hybrid environments often require either Windows Autopilot or co management. The automatic enrollment can also be used for kiosk or shared devices, but some user interaction may initially be required. Let's say, for example, a user might need to sign in before the device can automatically get enrolled. The next enrollment type on the list is for Windows Autopilot. Windows Autopilot is designed to simplify the deployment of a new or repurposed corporate device. Instead of IT manually configuring every computer, device information is registered with the organization in advance. The device can then be shipped directly from the manufacturer or the supplier to the employee. When the user turns it on and connects the device to the internet, the device recognizes the organization and begins the configure deployment process. Windows Autopilot is particularly used when organization purchases devices from an Autopilot supported manufacturer, or the devices are corporately owned, the employees work remotely, the organizations needs to deploy a large number of devices, a device require standardized out of box experience, or hybrid Microsoft Entra join is required on the devices. Windows Autopilot uses automatic enrollment, which means that Microsoft Entra Premium may be required. It can also assist with upgrading or modernizing devices that previously used old versions of Windows or Microsoft Configuration Manager. But Autopilot is not normally the preferred method for personal or BYOD devices. For personal devices, automatic enrollment or user enrollment is usually more appropriate, and the device enrollment manager accounts are not applicable to Windows Autopilot. Another very popular option for device enrollment is the user enrollment for BYOD scenarios. This method is intended for personally owned devices where the organization wants to manage access to work resources without treating the entire device as a corporate property. Microsoft Entra Premium is not necessarily required just to use this enrollment option. However, when the device is joined to Microsoft Entra ID, the organization may still be able to apply Microsoft Entra Premium features. Now, where is this user enrollment supposed to be used? The user enrollment is most suitable when employees use personal Windows devices. The organization needs a lighter management approach. Users need access to corporate applications and information, or the business wants to separate personal activity from organizational management. The users must understand that enrolling a personal device may allow the organization's IT department to manage certain settings or information on that device. This should be clearly communicated through the organization's BYOD and privacy policies to the user. The user enrollment is not designed for device enrollment manager accounts. It is also not the recommended approach for devices owned by the organization. Corporate devices should normally use automatic enrollment, autopilot, or other organization control deployment methods. The final scenario that comes up is co management with the configuration manager. Co management allows a Windows device to be managed by both Microsoft Intune and Microsoft Configuration Manager or the SCCM. This is particularly useful for organizations that already have an established configuration manager environment but wants to gradually move workloads to cloud management. Co-management can be appropriate when the devices are already managed through configuration manager. The organization has hybrid Microsoft Entra join devices. Some workloads need to remain on premises. Other workloads are ready to move to Intune, or the organization wants a phased transition to the modern management of Intune. Depending on the co management configuration, Microsoft Entra Premium may be required. Co-management can support corporate, personal, remote, and shared device scenarios, but the exact setup must be very carefully planned. A device should not be enrolled through conflicting management mechanisms. For example, users should not independently enroll a co-managed device through the standard Intune company portal if the organization's configuration manager process already control its enrollment. Co-management is therefore best suited to organizations with an existing configuration manager infrastructure and a defined cloud transition strategy. Now the question is, how do we choose which Windows enrollment method should be followed? So I have created a simple decision tree using which it would become easy to select which one to choose from the four options we have. For a new corporate device that will be delivered directly to an employee, use Windows Autopilot. For a cloud native device that a user will join Microsoft Entra ID, use Windows Automatic Enrollment. If the employee is willing to use their personal device, consider BYOD user enrollment or automatic enrollment depending on the level of management required on that BYOD device. For devices that are already managed by Microsoft Configuration Manager, use co-management. But before selecting a method, always evaluate the device's ownership, identity configuration, existing management state, and intended user experience. Now that we have looked into the Windows enrollment method, let's move towards the Android Enterprise enrollment options. So the image right here shows 5 different types of enrollment options that we get with our Android devices. The first one is personally owned devices with a work profile. Then we have the Android Enterprise dedicated devices. The third one is the Android Enterprise fully managed devices. Then we have Android Enterprise corporate owned work profile. And the last option is the Android open source project. Each one is designed for a different ownership and a different usage scenario. Let's start with the first one. For BYOD scenarios, Android Enterprise can create a separate work profile on the user's personal device. The work profile creates a managed area for organizational applications and data, while the user's personal application and information remains separate. This method is appropriate when the employee owns the device, the Google mobile services are available on the device is associated with one user, the organization needs to protect work data, but the IT team should not fully control the personal portion of the device. So, during enrollment, the organization can identify the device as personal or corporate, although this option is primarily designed for personally owned devices. The BYOD scenario can support both individual and bulk enrollment scenarios. And the device enrollment manager accounts may also be used for this enrollment type. However, if the device is already managed by another MDM provider, the existing management certificates and configuration files must be removed before getting the device enrolled to Intune. The second enrollment option that we get with Android devices is the Android Enterprise Dedicated Device. In Android device terms, dedicated device means corporate owned Android devices that are intended for a specific purpose. When we say a specific purpose, some of the examples of this type of device can include kiosks, digital signage, warehouse scanners, point of sale devices, check in terminals, and other specific task focused devices. These devices are normally not associated with a single user. The Android Enterprise dedicated enrollment is appropriate when the organization owns the device performs one or a limited number of tasks, multiple people may use the device, or no personal application and data are required on the device. Although dedicated devices may support Google mobile services, they should not be treated as personal devices. The device enrollment manager accounts are not supported for this method. If the device needs full user based management rather than a kiosk style control, Android Enterprise fully managed enrollment might be a better option. The next scenario is the Android Enterprise fully managed enrollment type. This is intended for organization owned devices used exclusively for work. The organization controls the entire device, including settings, applications, restrictions, and security requirements. This is also called as corporate owned Android device, and this method is most suitable when the organization owns the device is assigned to a single employee, personal usage of that device is not required, the IT team needs to control the entire device, or strong security and compliance enforcements are needed on that device. The fully managed devices can either be controlled individually or in bulk, and this can also support both new and existing devices. Although an existing device may need to be reset before enrollment, but it is supported to get an existing device enrolled by this method. The device enrollment manager accounts are not supported. The devices already are managed by another MDM system needs to be unenrolled before they can become fully managed by Intune. The fourth option is the corporate owned Android device with a work profile. Corporate owned devices with a work profile provide a balance between organizational control and personal use. The organization owns the device, but the user is permitted to use part of it for personal activities. The work profile separates business applications and information from the user's personal area. This type of enrollment is useful when the organization owns the device, a single employee uses the device, both business and personal usage is permitted on that device, work data must remain protected, and the organization wants more control than is available in a standard BYOD scenario. This method is different from the personally owned work profile option because the organization has broader control over the overall device. Device enrollment manager accounts are not supported. As with other fully controlled enrollment methods, if the device is managed by another MDM solution, it must be unenrolled there before adding it to Intune. The final Android option is enrollment for devices based on Android Open Source Project or AOSP. This method is useful for devices that do not support the Google mobile services. Some specialized devices sold in certain countries may use Android but not include Google standard services. The AOSP enrollment can support organization owned devices, devices assigned to individual users, specialized or purpose built Android hardware, and environments where Google mobile services are unavailable. However, AOSP enrollment has some limitations of its own. For example, bulk enrollment may be more restricted and more scenarios may require enrolling one device at a time. The AOSP should not be selected for standard personally owned Android devices. that use a work profile because that normally requires Google mobile services. This phase also does not support the device enrollment manager option. Now, how do we select which Android enrollment method should we go about? Here is a simple way to select the Android enrollment type. For an employee owned phone, use a personally owned work profile. For a company owned kiosk, scanner, or single purpose device, use Android Enterprise Dedicated Enrollment. For a company owned device used only for work, use Android Enterprise Fully Managed Enrollment. For a company owned device that permits both work and personal use, select Corporate Owned with a work profile. And for specialized Android devices without Google mobile services, consider AOSP option. Let's now come to the conclusion of our video today. To summarize, the device enrollment is the foundation of Microsoft Intune management. The correct enrollment method determines how much control the organization has, which policies can be deployed, how corporate and personal data are separated, whether the device is associated with the user, and what the overall setup experience looks like. For Windows, the main choices are automatic enrollment, Windows Autopilot, BYOD user enrollment and co-management. For Android, the main options are personally owned work profile, dedicated devices, fully managed devices, corporate owned work profile, and AOSP enrollment. There is no single enrollment method that is right for every device. The best choice depends on device ownership, operating environment, user requirement, existing management system, and the organization's security strategy. With this, we come to the end of today's video. If this video helped you understand the Microsoft Intune enrollment types, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more weekly content. In the comments, let me know which Intune enrollment method you are currently using in your organization. I'll see you in the next video. Keep watching. Thank you.